you are good soil. You are rich in what you have. You are rich in nutrients. You are rich in the ability to grow the seeds inside of you in the way that you are supposed to grow them. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Goode Soil. I am your host, Brittany Alexis, and I want to apologize in advance. If you see gnats flying around, we're having a gnat issue right now. And my roommate has a guinea pig. Her name is Beanie, and she is so cute, but Beanie eats apples, and sometimes when we put apples in there for her to nibble on, it takes her a while, and it does not take gnats any time to come and, chow down with her, and then also have a ton of babies and multiply. And yeah, so you may see a gnat flying across the screen. You're not crazy. You're not, hallucinating. It is a gnat, and I'm going to try my best to just keep focused, stay focused on the task at hand, which is to offer advice, encouragement, and a little wisdom on a question that you, the listeners, submit. So today's question is a good question. I think it's something that we all definitely struggle with, and we all kind of have our own relationship with this particular thing, and that thing is perfection and perfectionism. And I'm just going to dive into the question. So, dear Goode Soil, what is perfection, and is it really attainable, or is it just a guise for avoiding rejection? I do this every time. I'm like, oh, that's a good question. That's because you guys submit really good questions. These are all really good questions. So what is perfection? What is perfection? Let's look up the definition of perfection so that we can actually get a good understanding of what perfection is. So perfection. There are a few definitions actually. So the condition, state, or quality of being free or as free as possible from all flaws or defects. The action or process of improving something until it is faultless or as faultless as possible. So faultless. Perfection is the pursuit of faultlessness, or the pursuit of being as faultless as possible. And the thing about perfection, and I always think of the movie Black Swan, and I see Natalie Portman in the end just looking at the camera like, I was perfect. And she's so proud of herself, but she's dead. She's dying when she says that. And that to me is the epitome of perfection. To pursue perfection is to kind of pursue death. Perfection really does lead to this sense of sort of death. And anyone who has pursued it, and anyone who is pursuing it, or anyone who is recovering from pursuing it can kind of tell you. And in my own experience, anytime I've tried to be perfect, time I've tried to be faultless or as faultless as possible, it also came with a lot of consequences. I was exhausted. I was burned out. I was a shell of myself. I was angry. I was really vicious towards myself. I was harsh towards myself. I just was not a good person when I was seeking perfection. And even to this day, when I find myself seeking perfection, I am in the state of anxiety, in the state of fear, and sort of white knuckling the situation, white knuckling myself, telling myself, you need to be better. You need to do this better. If you're not doing this, if you're not perfect, what will happen? I don't know. You will potentially be rejected to this person's question. So perfection to me is death. Perfection to me is not attainable. It's not attainable. And also, we're human, and humans are fickle. And humans, look through life subjectively. So faultless to me may not be faultless to someone else or to someone else. So this idea of eradicating fault, is subjective, because something that you may think is a fault, somebody else may think is the best thing ever, and you just eradicated something, but then they point out another fault that you have. It's just a never-ending cycle of trying to, it's almost like well, no, that's a bad example. I'm not going to use that example. Thank you, discernment. Thank you. That still small voice is like, girl, don't say that. But yeah, perfection is it's not attainable. It's not attainable. And thank God it's not attainable, because truly within our faults and truly within who we are already, in our messiness, in our, fumbling and trying to figure this thing out and trying to be, creative in our creativity and in our humanity is so much beauty and so much peace and joy when we aren't striving for perfection, and when we do kind of let go of the reins and say, like, this is the best I can do. I strived for the best that I could do, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay if it's flawed. I'm okay if there's still, work to be done to improve it. I'm okay with it being an expression of who I really am, and that may not jive with everyone. I'm okay within myself that I can be messy sometimes, and I can, fall into depression sometimes, and I can put out work that's a little weird and kind of, mind bending, and not everyone's going to get it. I'm okay with not being everyone's cup of tea. I'm okay with, putting this person forward who is okay with being judged and not accepted, and knowing that I will be okay at the end of the day. I'm not perfect, and I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with what comes with that, which may be criticism, which may be, attracting new people, which may be, again, a little messy, a little rough around the edges, but who isn't? And when we accept that, and when we allow ourselves to be good enough, not perfect enough, but good enough as we are, and we continue to, that doesn't mean you can't grow or continue to strive for things and continue to work towards things and continue to put your best foot forward and try your best. But again, I think that it goes, perfection is like what? The perfection is the antithesis of good or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, perfection is, it's in its whole other realm of it's not good, it's not great, it's just this realm of unsatisfaction, dissatisfaction. Nothing is ever good enough, and that's a hard state to live in. Take it from me, who has always struggled with self-worth, who has always struggled with feeling like I have to present myself as perfect, perfectly put together. My hair has to be perfect. My hairline, Lord, my hairline got to be perfect. It's not perfect, honey. It's not perfect. My work has to be perfect. My writing has to be perfect. And, beating myself up if I sent an email that had a typo. I was like, oh, stupid, you idiot, and then you go into this spiral. When you really take a step back, you're like, it's okay. It is okay. It's okay. Okay, so you spelled "you're" wrong. Okay, and that person may think you're an idiot. Well, that person needs to lower their standards a little bit. And also, you will survive if you type something wrong, or if someone, has something to say or gives you feedback. It's okay. It's okay. Say it with me. It's okay. And you feel that when you say it's okay, and when you release that perfection, you truly do feel a sense of peace, and you just have more energy for things that matter. You have more energy to take care of yourself. You have more energy to, do more things, because when we were trying to strive for perfection, that we're singularly focused on perfection. And I know I use this example a lot, but like in my script writing, if I'm trying to perfect something, all of my energy is going to this one line in this one script, when I could be writing 10 scripts and have way more output and be sending things out and getting more feedback and generating more content and generating more opportunities. Whereas when I'm perfecting one thing, it's not going anywhere. No one's seeing it. No one's able to, give me feedback on it. It's the opportunity is not there anymore, because you're spending so much energy and focus trying to make it something that it will never be. Allow it to be good enough. Allow yourself to let go of the reins. Perfectionism, perfection, all of that does stem from really this idea that you're not good enough as is, your work isn't good enough as is. And if you aren't presenting yourself as good enough, and if your work isn't good enough, you will be rejected ultimately. So to this person's point, to this question's point, is perfection just a guise for avoiding rejection? Yeah, It's a guise for avoiding a lot of things. It's a guise for avoiding rejection. It's a guise for avoiding, hurt and pain, getting your feelings hurt, which comes with rejection. It's an armor. It's a mechanism to prevent you from being seen and therefore judged and therefore hurt and therefore all of the things that you already believe about yourself, the narrative that's running in your mind that's not good enough, that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy of love, that you suck, that you are a piece of, that all those things will then be confirmed if this thing isn't perfect. And that is a lot of pressure to put on yourself. And that is a lot of pressure to put on your work and your art and your creativity and on your existence and on how you go out into the world. It is exhausting and it is tiring and it is bleak and it is a black hole, a cesspool of never ending pain and misery. Trust me. So yeah, a lot of the things we do are just guises to prevent ourselves from being hurt and from being, rejected by others and by people we admire and care about. But when you really, again, and this actually goes back to God. I mean, what doesn't go back to God? But it really goes back to this idea of like pleasing him above all else and understanding that he made you, he approved you, you are good. I say it all the time. This is the name of the podcast, the name of what I'm doing. You are good soil. You are rich in what you have. You are rich in nutrients. You are rich in the ability to grow the seeds inside of you in the way that you are supposed to grow them. And when we are so afraid of getting rejected by man and so afraid of just not being good enough, we stifle that. We hide, we hang back. We don't burst with light. We hide our light, we hide our joy, we hide our peace. We are already essentially living in the space let me say that again. We're essentially living in the space as if we've already been rejected. So who cares if that gets rejected? You are already embodying what it is to have been rejected, and you haven't even been rejected yet. By trying to be perfect, you're essentially already experiencing the pain, the shame, you're implementing that on yourself. You're rejecting yourself when you are trying to be perfect. And so who cares if John S rejects you or where am I coming up with these names? Mariah Carey rejects you. That might hurt if Mariah Carey rejects you. But it doesn't even matter because you've already proactively rejected yourself. So when we take a step back and reflect on the things that we do and we see that it's all kind of just a circle, the cyclical thing that we're doing where we're not actually preventing anything from happening. We are just making it happen on multiple stages. We're rejecting ourselves first. We're feeling the feelings of being rejected already. We're continuing to be perfect. We don't put anything out. We look out at the world. Nothing's changed. Our dreams haven't come true. So we feel like failures because we wouldn't let anything go. And now we don't know what to do. And now it's just all a spiral, again, a cesspool of just death. It leads to death. You cannot blossom in perfection. You can't grow in perfection. You can't create in perfection. You can't grow in perfection. I think I might have said grow. You just can't be you when you are striving for perfection. So let it go. Allow yourself to know and to trust yourself that if whatever you do, whatever you put out, whatever you present, whether that's yourself or your work or whatever, the things that you are proud of, understand that you have what it takes. You have the tools, you have the skills, you have the community. If you don't, you can seek out the community. You have God who can help you through those feelings, who can help you bounce back from that rejection. You are not going to break. You are not going to die from rejection. You are not going to, you will be okay. We've all experienced rejection. It sucks. It is painful. It hurts. I'm not going to lie. It does suck. And, sometimes we were rejected early on in our life and we were stuck with those feelings for a very long time. And we really just don't want to experience any more of that. I know, and I understand, and I sympathize with that. I know rejection is hard, especially when you're a child, especially when you're growing up and you just want to be affirmed and you just want to be seen and heard and loved on unconditionally. But understand that you survived, you are here, and you are going to be okay. And if you let your hair down, you're going to be okay. And if you speak up, you're going to be okay. And if you make a mistake or stutter through something like I've been stuttering through this entire podcast, you're going to be okay. And you're going to attract the people and the things that are meant to come to you, because you aren't being this perfect shell. You're being a real human. You're being you. And that's all that matters to God. And that's all that can matter to you if you so choose that to be the only thing that matters, that you do your best and that you believe that you are good enough and that you are good soil. So we're out with perfection. 2024, we're not striving for perfection. We're striving for good. We are striving for us. We are striving for what feels like us and what is the embodiment of us and the embodiment of God and who God has called us to be and what God has put inside of us and what he has trusted us to birth and bring forward. And it will be good. Like he said, after 7 days, after every day that he created the earth and the heaven and the earth, he said, this is good. This is good. This isn't perfect. This is good. There's room for improvement. I can separate the sky from the water, but it is good. There's potential here. There is something here that is good. And so I need you to look at yourself, and I need you to look at your life, and I need you to look at the things around you, the gifts and talents God has given you. Look at those things and say, this is good. I can work with this. This can go forward. This has potential. So when we do that, that leads to life. That leads to you saying, it was great, it was good, and being able to live and continue on after and not die like the swan and like Natalie Portman at the end of Black Swan. So that is my answer. That is my advice to this question. As always, thank you for submitting your question and for being vulnerable. I hope I offered some good advice, or at least sparked some curiosity in you to continue your exploration, continue your self-discovery journey, your growth journey, and say it with me. Put your hand on your heart. I am good soil, because you are. All right. Thank you for listening. I love you. Have a good day. Bye. Thank you for watching another episode of Good Soil. If you liked this video, be sure to share it with friends and family, because we could all use a little reminding that we are good soil. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.